Never tell me. I take it much unkindly that thou, Iago, who hast had my purse as if the strings were thine, shouldst know this.
Blood, but you will not hear. If ever I did dream of such a matter, abhor me.
Thou toldest thou didst hold him in thy hate.
Despise me if I do not. 3 great ones of the city in personal suit to make me his lieutenant, off cap to him, and by the faith of man I know my price. I am worth no worse a place, but he, as loving his own pride and purposes, evades them with a bombast circumstance horribly stuffed with epithets of war, and, in conclusion, none suits my mediators, for, certes, says he, I have already chose my officer, and what was he? Forsooth, a great arithmetician, one Michael Cassio, a Florentine, a fellow almost damned in a fair wife that never set a squadron in the field, nor the division of a battle knows more than a spinster, unless the bookish theoric, wherein the tongue consuls can propose as masterly as he, mere prattle without practice is all his soldiership. But he, sir, had the election, and I, of whom his eyes had seen the proof at Rhodes, at Cyprus, and on other grounds, christened and heathen, must be lead and calmed by debitor and creditor. This countercaster, he in good time must his lieutenant be, and I, God bless the mark, his moorship's ancient.
By heaven, I rather would have been his hangman.
But there's no remedy. 'Tis the curse of service. Preferment goes by letter and affection, and not by old gradation, where each second stood heir to the first. Now, sir, be judge yourself, whether I in any just term am affined to love the more.
I would not follow him then.
No, sir, content you. I follow him to serve my turn upon him. We cannot all be masters, nor all masters cannot truly be followed. You shall mark many a duteous and knee-crooking knave that, doting on his own obsequious bondage, wears out his time, much like his master's ass, on naught but provender. And when he's old, cashiered, whip me such honest knaves. Others there are, who, trimmed in forms and visages of duty, keep yet their hearts attending on themselves, and throwing but shows of service on their lords, do well thrive by them. And when they have lined their coats, do themselves homage. These fellows have some soul, and such a one do I profess myself. For, sir, it is as sure as you are Rodrigo, were I the Moor, I would not be Iago. In following him, I follow but myself. Heaven is my judge. Not I for love and duty, but seeming so, for my peculiar end. For when my outward action doth demonstrate the native act and figure of my heart, in compliment extern, is not long after, but I will wear my heart upon my sleeve.
Froze. What a full fortune does the thick lips owe, if he can care it thus?
I'm frozen. Oh yeah, I'm unfrozen now.
What a full...
Did you say your line?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
What a full fortune does the thick lips owe, if he can carry it thus?
Call up her father, rouse him, make after him, poison his delight, proclaim him in the streets, incense her kinsman, and though he in a fertile climate dwell, plague him with flies. Though that his joy be joy, yet throw such chances of vexation on it as it may lose some color.
Here is her father's house. I'll call aloud.
Do, with like timorous accent, and dire yell as when by night and negligence the fire is spied in populous cities.
What? Ho! Brabantio! Signor Brabantio! Ho!
Awake! What? Oh! Brabantio! Thieves! 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 Look to your house, your daughter and your bags! Thieves! Thieves!
What is the reason for this terrible summons? What is the matter there?
Signor,
Did I?
is all your family within?
Are your doors locked?
Why ask? Wherefore ask you this?
Zounds, sir, you are robbed. For shame, put on your gown. Your heart is burst. You have lost half your soul. Even now, very now. An old black ram is topping your white ewe. Arise, arise. Awake the snorting citizens with the bell, or else the devil will make a grandsire of you. Arise, I say.
What? Have you lost your wits?
Most reverend Signora, do you know my voice?
I, not I. What are you?
My name is Rodrigo.
The worse are welcome. I have charged thee not to haunt about my doors. In honest plainness, thou hast heard me say my daughter is not for thee, and now in madness, being full of supper and distempering draught, but malicious bravery, dost thou come to start my quiet.
Sir.
But thou must needs be sure my spirit and my place have in them power to make this bitter to thee.
Patience, good sir.
What tellest thou me of robbing? This is Venice. My house is not a grange.
Most grave Brabantio, in simple and pure soul, I come to you.
Zounds, sir, you are one of those that will not serve God. The devil bid you. Because we come to do you service, and you think we are ruffians, you'll have your daughter covered with a Barbary horse. You'll have your nephews neigh to you. You'll have courses for cousins and jennets for Germans.
What profane rich art thou?
I am one, sir, that comes to tell you your daughter and the Moor are now making the beast with two backs.
Thou art a villain.
You are a senator.
This thou shalt answer. I know thee, Rodrigo.
Sir, I will answer anything, but I beseech you, if it be your pleasure and most wise consent, as partly I find it is, that your fair daughter, at this odd even and dull watch of the night, transported with no worse nor better guard, but with a knave of common hire, a gondolier, to the gross
Gondolier.
that too, gondolier, to the gross clasps of a lascivious Moor. If this be known to you and your allowance, when we have then done you bold and saucy wrongs. But if you know not this, any manners tell me we have your wrong rebuke. Do not believe that, from the sense of all civility, I thus would play and trifle with your reverence. Your daughter, if you have not given her leave, I say again, hath made a gross revolt, tying her duty, beauty, wit, and fortunes in an extravagant and wheeling stranger of here and everywhere. Straight, satisfy yourself. If she be in her chamber or your house, let loose on me the justice of the state, for thus deluding you.
Strike on the tinder. Oh! Give me your papers and call up all my people. This accident is not unlike any dream. Belief of it oppresses me since already. Light, I say, light. Light!
Well, for I must leave you. It seems not meet nor wholesome to my place to be produced as, if I say I shall, against the Moor. For I do know the state, however this may gall him with some check, cannot with safety cast him, for he's embarked with such loud reason to the Cyprus wars, which even now stands in act, that for their souls another of his fathom they have none. They have none to lead their business, in which regard, though I do hate him as I do hell pains, yet for necessity of present life, I must show out a flag and sign of love, which is indeed but sign. That you shall surely find him, lead to the Sagittary, the raised search, and there will I be with him. So, farewell.
It is true, and then of evil, and gone she is, and what's to come of my despised time is naught but bitterness. Now, Rodrigo, where didst thou see her? Oh, unhappy girl, what the more sayest thou? Oh, who would be a father? Oh, how dost thou know 'twas she? Oh, she deceives me past thought. What said she to you? Oh, get more tapers, raise all my kindred. Are they married, think you?
Truly, I think they are.
Oh, heaven, how she got out. Oh, treason of the blood. Oh, fathers, from hence trust not your daughters' minds, by which you see them act. And is there not charms by which the property of youth and maidhood may be abused? Have you not read, Rodrigo, of such things?
Sir, yes, sir, I have indeed.
Call up my brother, and would you had her? Oh, come one way, get some another. Do you know what we may apprehend her and the more?
I think I can discover him, if you please, to get good guard and go along with me.
Pray you, lead on, and at every house I'll call. I may command at most, and get weapons. Oh, and raise some special officers of night. Oh, good Rodrigo, I'll deserve your pains. Act scene 2.
Though in the trade of war I have slain men, yet do I hold it very stuff the conscience to do no contrived murder. I lack iniquity sometimes to do me service. 9 or 10 times I had thought to have jerked him here under the ribs.
It's better as it is.
Nay, but he prated and spoke such scurvy and provoking terms against your honor that with the little godliness I have, I did full hard forbear him. But, I pray you, sir, are you fast married? Be assured of this, that the Magnifico is much beloved and hath in his effect a voice potential as double as the Duke's. He will divorce you or put upon you what restraint or grievance the law with all his might to enforce it on will give him cable.
Let him do his spite. My services, which I have done the Signore, shall out-tongue his complaints. 'Tis yet to know, which, when I know that boasting is an honor, I shall provocate. I fetch my life, and being from men of royal siege, and my demerits may speak unbonneted, too, as proud a fortune as this, that I have reached. For know, Iago, that I love the gentle Desdemona. I would not my unhealth-free condition put into circumscription and conflict with the sea's worth. But look, what lights come yonder?
Those are the raised father and his friends. You had best go in.
Not I. I must be found. My parts, my title, and my perfect soul shall manifest me rightly. Is it they?
By Janus, I think so.
The servants of the Duke?
Oh, I think no.
The servants of the Duke? Am I lieutenant? What goodness of the night upon you, friends? What is the news?
The Duke does greet you. General, he requests your post-haste appearance, even on the instant.
What is the matter, think you?
Something from Cyprus, as I may divine. It is a business of my some heat. The galleys have sent a dozen secret messengers this very night at one another's heels, and may any of the consuls raised and met, and all the dukes are ready. You have been hotly called for, and when be not at your lodging to be found, the Senate has sent about 3 several quests to search you out.
So 'tis well I am found by you. I will but spend a word here in the house, and go with you.
And ancient, what makes ye here?
They tonight have boarded a land carrack. If it prove lawful prize, he's made forever.
I do not understand.
He's married.
To whom?
Marry to, come, Captain, will you go? No, sorry.
Married to... Come, Captain, will you go?
Or have with you.
Here comes another troop to seek for you.
It is Brabantio. General, be advised, he comes to bad intent.
Hola! Stand there.
Senor, it is Senor, it is the Moor.
Down with them, thief! A draw on both sides here.
You, Rodrigo, come, sir, I am for you.
Keep up your bright swords, for the dew will rust them. Good senor, you shall more command with years than with your weapons.
O thou foul thief, where hast thou stowed my daughter? Damned as thou art, thou hast enchanted her. I'll return me to all things of sense, and if she in chains of magic were not bound, whether of maid so tender, fair, and happy, so opposite to marriage, that she shunned the wealthy curled darlings of our nation, would ever have to incur a general mock, run from her guardage to the sooty bosom of such a thing as thou. Oh, to fear, not to delight, judge me the world, and if thou gross in some incense that thou hast practiced on her with foul charms, abused her delicate youth with drugs or minerals, thou weakest motion, I'll have it disputed on that 'tis probable and palpable to the thinking. I therefore apprehend and do attach thee from an abuser of the world, a practicer of arts uninhibited and out of warrant. Lay hold upon him. If you do resist, subdue him at his peril.
Hold your hands, both you of my inclining and the rest. Were it my cue to fight, I should have known it without comfort. Whither will you go that I go to answer this your charge?
To prison, and till fit time of law and course of direct succession call thee to answer.
What if I do obey? How may the Duke be therefore satisfied whose messengers are here about my side, upon some present business of the state, to bring me to him?
'Tis true.
'Tis true, most worthy Signor, the Duke's in council and your noble self, I'm sure, is sent for.
How? The Duke in council? Oh, in this time of the night? Oh, bring him away. Mine's not an idle cause. The Duke himself, or any of my brothers of the state, cannot but feel this wrong as 'twere their own. And if such actions should have passage free, bond slaves and pagans shall our statements be.
There is no composition in the news that gives them credit.
Indeed, they are disproportioned. My letters say 107 galleys.
And mine, 140.
Second, you're the second also.
Oh, I thought I was officer. Okay, mine and 200, but though they jump not on just account, as in these cases, where the aim reports, 'tis oft with difference, and yet do they all confirm a Turkish fleet, and bearing up to Cyprus. Nay, it is not possible enough to judgment. I do not so secure me in the error, but the main article I do approve, in fearful sense.
What ho, what ho, what ho?
A messenger from the galleys.
Now, what's the business?
The Turkish preparation makes them for roads, and so was I to report here to the state by Signor Angelo.
How say you by this change?
This cannot be. Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
This cannot be by Noah's essay of reading his pageant to keep us in false gaze when we consider the importancy of Cyprus and the Turk. And let ourselves again but understand this, that as it more concerns the Turks than Rhodes, so may he with more facial question bear it, for that it stands not in such warlike grace, but altogether lacks the abilities that Rhodes is dressed in. If we make thought of this, we must not think the Turks so unskilful to leave that latest, which concerns his first, neglecting an attempt of ease and gain to wake and wage a danger profitless.
Nay, in all confidence, he's not for Rhodes.
Here's more news.
The Ottomites and reverend and gracious steering from the course first towards the tail of Rhodes have there enjoined themselves to after the fleet.
I thought, how many as you guess?
Of 30 sail, and now they do re-stem their backward course, hearing with frank appearances their purposes towards Cyprus. Senor Montano, your trusty and most valiant servitor, with his free duty recommends you thus, and prays you believe him.
'Tis certain then, for Cyprus, Marcus Lucicios, is not he in town?
He is now in Florence.
Write from us to him. Post haste. Dispatch.
Here comes Barbencio and the villain Moore.
Valiant.
Valiant. Valiant Moore.
Valiant Othello, we must straight implore you against the general enemy Ottoman. I did not see you. Welcome, gentle signor. We lacked your counsel, your help tonight.
And so did I yours. Good your grace, pardon me, but neither my place nor aught I heard of business, and hath raised me from my bed, and thou dost the general care take hold on me, for my particular grief is of so floodgate and overbearing in nature that it gluts and swallows other sorrows. Itself.
Why? What's the matter?
Oh, my daughter. Oh, my daughter.
Dead?
Wow. Hi to me, and she is abused, stolen from me, and corrupted by spells and medicines tonight of mountebanks, and for nature so preposterously to tear, bring out the deficient and blind or lame of sense. Sans witchcraft could not.
Whoever he be, that in this foul proceeding hast thus beguiled your daughter of herself, and you of her, the bloody book of law, you shall yourself read in the bitter letter, and after your own sense, yea, though our proper son stood in your action.
Humbly I thank your grace. Here is the man. And this more, which now it seems your special mandate for the state affairs hath thither brought.
We are very sorry for it.
Ah.
Oh.
Well,
What in your own part can you say to this?
nothing, but this is so.
Most potent, grave, and reverend signors, my very noble and approved good masters, that I have taken over this old man's daughter. It is most true. True, I have married her. The very head and front of my opinion at this extent no more. Rude am I in my speech, and little blessed with the soft phrase of peace. For since these arms of mine have 7 years hit, and till now, some 9 moons wasted, they have used their dearest action in the tented field. And little of this great world can I speak more than pertains to feats of duels and battles. And therefore, little shall I grace my cause in speaking for myself. Yet, by your gracious patience, I will round unvanished tale deliver of my whole course of love. What drugs, what charms, what conjuration, and what mighty magic for such proceeding I am charged with all, I won his daughter.
A maiden, never held, never bold, of spirit so still and quiet that her emotions blushed at herself, and she, in spite of nature, of years, of country, credit, or everything, and to fall in love with what she feared to look on. It is the judgment maimed and most imperfect that will confess perfection to who could err against all rules of nature, and must be driven to find out practices of cunning hell. And why this should be, I therefore vouch again, and that with such mixtures powerfully o'er the blood, or with some dram conjured in this effect, he wrought upon her.
To vouch this is no proof, without more wider and more overt test than these thin habits and poor likelihoods of modern seeming do prefer against him.
But Othello, speak. Did you do indirect and forced forces, subdue and poison this young maiden's affections, or came it by request, and such fair question as soul to soul affordeth?
I do beseech you, send for the lady to the sanitation, and let her speak of me before her father. If you do find me foul in her report, the trust, the office I do hold of you, not only take away, but let your sentence even fall upon my life.
Fetch Desdemona hither.
Ancient conductor, you best know the place. And till she come, as truly as to heaven, I do confess the vices of my blood. So justly to your grave ears I'll present how I did thrive in this fair lady's love, and she in mine.
Say it, Othello.
Her father loved me, oft invited me, still questioned me the story of my life, from year to year, the battles, the sieges, the fortunes that I have passed. I ran it through, even from my boyish days, to the very moment that he bade me tempt it, wherein I spoke of most disastrous chances, of moving accidents by flood and field, of hair-breadth escapes and the imminent deadly breach, of being taken by the insolent foe and sold to slavery, of my redemption thence and portents of my travels history, wherein Amphras vast and deserts hiding, rough quarries, rocks, and hills whose heads touch heaven, it was my hint to speak, and such was my process. And of the cannibals that each other attacked, the anthropophagi, and men whose heads do grow beneath their shoulders, these things to hear with Desdemona seriously inclined. But still the house affairs would draw her thence, which over as she would haste dispatch, she'd come up again, and with a greedy caw, devour upon my discourse, which I observing, I took once on a quiet hour and found good meanings to draw from her a prayer of earnest heart that I would all my pilgrimage dilate, whereof by parcel she had something heard, but not intendedly. I did consent, and often did beguile her of her tears, when I did speak of some destructive stroke that my youth suffered. My story being done, she gave me for my pains a world of sighs. She swore, in faith, 'twas strange, 'twas passing strange, 'twas pitiful, 'twas wondrous pitiful. She wished she had not heard it, yet she wished that heaven had made her such a man. She thanked me, and bade me, if I had a friend that loved her, I should but reach him and tell how to tell my story, and that she would woo her. Upon this hint I spake. She loved me for the dangers I had passed, and I loved her that she did pity them. This only is the witchcraft I had used. Here comes the lady, let her witness it.
I think this tale would win my daughter too, good Brabantio. Take up this mangled matter at the best. Men do their broken weapons rather use than their bare hands.
I pray you, let her speak. Yes, she confessed that she was half the wooer, and destruction on my head if I bad blame the light on the man. Come hither, gentle mistress. Do you perceive in all this noble company what most you hold obedience?
My noble father, I do perceive here a divided duty. To you I am bound for life and education. My life and education both do learn me how to respect you. You are the lord of duty. I am hitherto your daughter. But here's my husband, and so much duty as my mother showed to you, preferring you before her father, so much I challenge that I may profess due to the more, my lord.
God be with you. I am done. Is it your grace? It is the state affairs. I had rather to adopt a child than get it. And come hither more. I here do give thee that with all my heart, which thou hast already, with all my heart I would keep from thee. Oh, for your sake, jewel. I have no other child, but I would treat me to tyranny, and to hang clogs on them. I have done, my lord.
Let me speak, like yourself, and lay a sentence, which, as a guise or step, may help these lovers into your favor. When remedies are past, and the griefs are ended, by seeing the worst, which late on hopes depended, to mourn a mischief that is past and gone, is the next way to draw new mischief on. What cannot be preserved when fortune takes, patience her injury a mockery makes. The rob that smiles steals something from the thief. He robs himself that spends a bootless grief.
So let the Cyprus us beguile, and we lose it not, so long as we can settle and smile. He bears the sentence well, with it nothing bears, and that all the free comfort with from thence he hears, but he hears both the sentence and the sorrow, and that to pay grave must poor patience borrow. These two, sugar, are tall. Each sides are equivocal, but words are words. I never yet did hear that the bruised heart was pierced through the ear. I humbly beseech you, proceed in the affairs of state.
The Turk, with a most mighty preparation, makes for Cyprus. Othello, the fortunate of the place, is best known to you, and though we have there a substitute of most allowed sufficiency, yet opinion, a sovereign mistress of efforts, throws a more safer voice on you. You must therefore be content to slubber the gloss of your new fortunes with this more stubborn and boisterous expedition.
The tyrant custom, most grave senators, hath made the flinty and the steel couch of war my thrice driven bed of down. I do agonize a natural and prompt alacrity I find in hardness, and do undertake this present war against the Ottomites. Most humbly, therefore, bending to your state, I crave fit disposition for my wife, to reverence of place and exhibition, with such accommodation and resort as levels with her breeding.
If you please, be it at her father's.
I'll not have it so.
All right.
Nor would I there reside, to put my father in impatient thoughts, by being in his eye. Most gracious Duke, to my unfolding lend your prosperous ear, and let me find a charter in your voice, to assist my simpleness.
What would you, Desdemona?
That I did love the more to live with him. My downright violence and storm of fortunes may trumpet to the world. My heart subdued, even to the very quality of my lord. I saw Othello's visage in his mind, and to his honours and his valiant parts did I my soul in fortunes consecrate. So that, dear lords, if I be left behind, a moth of peace, and he go to war, the rights for which I love him are bereft me, and I a heavy interim shall support by his dear absence. Let me go with him.
Let her have your voice. Vouch with me, heaven, and I therefore beg it not to please your appetite, nor to comply with her, to hear the young effects in me become of papa satisfied, but to be free and bounteous to her mind, and heaven defend your good soul, that you think I will your serious and great business get, for she is with me. No, when light-winged toys of feathered Cupid feel with wanton dullness, my speculative and oppressed office instruments, that my discourse corrupt and taint my business, that housepots make a skillet of my helm, and all indign and base adversities make head against my estimation.
Be it as you shall privately determine. Either for her stay or going, the affair cries haste, and speed must answer it.
You must away tonight.
With all my heart.
At 9 in the morning here we'll meet again. Othello, leave some officer behind, and he shall our commission bring to you, with such things else of quality and respect as doth import you.
So please your grace, my ancient, a man he is of honesty and trust. To his conveyance I assign my wife, with what she needful, your good grace, shall think to be sent off to me.
Let it be so. Good night to everyone. And, noble signor, if virtue no delighted beauty lack, your son-in-law is far more fair than black.
Adieu, brave Moor, use Desdemona well.
Look through her more, and if thou hast eyes to see, she is the seed of your father, man may deceive thee.
By the life upon her faith. Honest Iago, my Desdemona must I leave to thee. I pray thee, let thy wife attend her, and bring them after in best advantage. Come, Desdemona, I have but an hour of love and worldly matter and direction to spend with thee. We must obey the time.
Iago,
What sayest thou, noble heart?
what will I do, thinkest thou?
Why, go to bed and sleep.
I will incontinently drown myself.
Well, if thou dost, I shall never love thee after. Why, thou silly gentleman?
It is silliness to live, when to live is torment. And then have we a subscription to die when death is our physic?
Oh, villainous! I have looked upon the world for 4 times 7 years, and since I could distinguish betwixt a benefit and an injury, I never found a man that knew how to love himself. Ere I would say, I would drown myself for the love of a guinea hen, I would change my humanity with a baboon.
What should I do? I confess, it is my shame to be so fond, but it is not in my virtue to amend it.
Virtue? A fig! 'Tis in ourselves that we are thus or thus. Our bodies are our gardens, to the which our wills are gardeners, so that if we will plant nettles, or sow lettuce, set hyssop and weed up thyme, supply it with one gender of herbs, or distract it with many, either to have it sterile or with idleness, or manured with industry, why, the power and incorrigible authority of this lies in our wills. If the balance of our lives had not one scale of reason to poise another of sensuality, the blood and baseness of our natures would conduct us to most preposterous conclusions. But we have reason to cool our raging motions, our carnal stings, our unbitted lusts, whereof I take this, that you call love, to be a sect or a scion.
It cannot be.
It is merely a lust of the blood and a permission of the will. Come, be a man. Drown thyself, drown cats and blind puppies. I have professed me thy friend, and I confess me knit to thy deserving with cables of perdurable toughness. I could never better stead thee than now. Put money in thy purse. Follow these wars. Defeat thy favor with an usurped beard. I say, put money in thy purse. It cannot be that Desdemona should long continue her love to the Moor. Put money in thy purse, nor he his to her. It was a violent commencement in her, and thou shalt see an unanswerable sequestration. Put money in thy purse. These Moors are changeable in their wills. Fill thy purse with money. The food that to him now is as luscious as locusts shall be to him shortly as bitter as coloquinta. She must change for you. When she is sated with his body, she will find the error of her choice. She must have changed. She must. Therefore, put money in thy purse. If thou wilt needs damn thyself, do it in a more delicate way than drowning. Make all the money thou canst. If sanctimony and a frail vow betwixt an erring barbarian and a supersubtle Venetian be not too hard for my wits, and all the tribe of hell, thou shalt enjoy her. Therefore, make money. Talks of drowning thyself, it is clean out of the way. Seek thou rather to be hanged encompassing thy joy than to be drowned and go without her.
Wilt thou be fast to my hopes, if I depend on the issue?
Thou art sure of me. Go, make money. I have told thee often, and I retell thee again and again, I hate the Moor. My cause is hearted. Thine have no less reason. Let us be conjunctive in our revenge against him. If thou canst cockle him, thou dost thyself a pleasure, me a sport. There are many events in the womb of time which will be delivered. Traverse. Oh, divide thy money. You will have more of this tomorrow, not you.
Where shall we meet in the morning?
At my lodging.
I'll be with thee betimes.
Go to, farewell. Do you hear, Rodrigo?
What say you?
No more of drowning. Do you hear?
I am changed. I'll go sell all my land.
Go to, farewell. Put money enough in your purse. Thus do I ever make my fool my purse. For I mine own gained knowledge should profane, if I would time expend with such a snipe, or for my sport and profit. I hate the more, and it is thought abroad that twixt my sheets he has done my office. I know not if it be true, yet I, from mere suspicion in that kind, will do as it for surety. He holds me well, the better shall my purpose work on him. Cassio is a proper man. Let me see now, to get his place and to plume up my will and double knavery. Let's see. After some time, to abuse a fellow's ear that he is too familiar with his wife. He hath a person, and is smooth disposed to be suspected, framed to make women false. The Moors of a free and open nature that thinks men honest, but that seem to be so, and will as tenderly be led by the nose as asses are. Habit is engendered. Hell and night must bring this monstrous birth towards lights.
Act 2, Scene 1, in a seaport town in Cyprus.
What say from the cape can you discern at sea?
Nothing at all. It is a high wrought flood. I cannot twixt the heaven and the main descry a sail.
And methinks the wind hath spoke aloud at hand, and the fuller bass as the never shook our battlements. It is, if it hath ruffianed so upon the sea, what ribs of oak, what mountains melt on them, can hold the mortise? Oh, what say ye here of this?
A segregation.
Segregation of the Turkish fleet, and for do but stand upon that foaming shore. The chiding billow seems to pelt the clouds, and the wind shakes surge with high and mountainous mane, and there seems to be cast water on the burning bear, and quench the gods of the ever-fixed pole, and I never did have the molestation view of the enchafed flood.
If that the Turkish fleet hath not sheltered and embroidered, they are drowned. It is impossible they bear it out.
News, lads, our words are done. The desperate tempest hath so been the Turks, that their designment halts and a noble ship of Venice has seen a grievous wreck and sufferance on most part of their fleet.
How? Is this true?
The ship is here put in, the Baroness Michael Cassio, lieutenant of the warlike Moor Othello, is come on shore, and the Moor himself is at sea, and is full commission here for Cyprus.
I am glad on't, and 'twas a worthy governor.
But the same Cassio thought he speak of comfort touching the Turkish loss, yet he looks sadly and prays the Moor be safe, for they were parted with foul and violent tempest.
Pray heaven he be, for I have served him, and the man commands like a full soldier. Let's to the seaside,
Oh, as well as to see the vessel that comes to, as to throw out our eyes for the brave Othello, and even till we make that main and the aerial blue is instinct regard.
Come, let's do so, for every minute is expectancy of more arriving.
Thanks you, the valiant of this warlike isle, and that so approve the war. Oh, let the heavens give him defense against the elements, for I have lost him in the dangerous sea.
Is he well enough? Is he well shipped?
His bark is stoutly timbered, and his pilot a very expert and approved allowance, and therefore my hopes, not surfeited to death, stand in bold cure. A sail, a sail, a sail! Oh, what noise!
The town is empty. On the brow of the sea stand ranks of people, and they cry a sail.
Ah, my hopes do shape him for the governor.
They do discharge. They do discharge their shot of courtesy. Our friends, at least.
I pray you, sir, go forth and give us truth who 'tis that is arrived.
I shall.
Oh, good lieutenant, is your general saved? Well, most fortunately, he hath achieved made that paragon's description and wild fame, one that excels the quirks of blazoning pens, and in the essential vesture of creation dost tire the engineer. How now? Who has put in?
'Tis one Iago, ancient to the general.
Oh, has had a most favorable and happy speed. Tempests themselves, high seas, and howling winds, the guttered rocks, the congregated sands, traitors in steep to clog the guiltless keel, having a sense of beauty, and do omit their mortal natures, and letting go safely by the divine Desdemona.
What is she?
She that I speak of, our great captain's captain, left in the conduct of the bold Iago, whose footing here anticipates our thoughts and the Sennites' speed. Great Jove, Othello, guard, and swell his sail with thine own powerful breath, that he may bless that bay with him in his tall ship. Make love, quick pants and dwells in Desdemona's arms, give renewed fire to our extincted spirits, and spite and bring all Cyprus comfort. Oh, behold, the riches of the ship is come on shore. Oh, ye men of Cyprus, let her have your knees. Hail to thee, lady, and to the grace of heaven, before, behind thee, and on every hand, in wheel thee brown.
I thank you, valiant Cassio. What tidings can you tell me of my lord?
My name is Cassio, and he is not arrived, nor know I not if he is well, and will he be shortly here.
Oh, but I fear. How lost you company?
All the great contention of the sea and skies parted our fellowship. But hark, a sail!
A sail!
Ah,
They give her the greeting to the citadel. This, likewise, is a friend.
see for the news? Oh, good ancient, you are welcome. Welcome, mistress. let it not gall your patience, good Iago, that I extend my manners, and it is my breeding that gives me this bold show of courtesy.
Sir, would she give you so much of her lips as of her tongue she oft bestows on me, you'd have enough.
Alas, she has no speech.
In faith, too much I find it still when I have list to sleep. Marry, before your ladyship, I grant, she puts her tongue a little in her heart and chides with thinking.
Say so.
Come on, you are pictures out of doors, bells in your parlors, wildcats in your kitchens, saints in your injuries, devils being offended, players in your housewifery, and housewives in your beds.
Oh, fie upon thee, slanderer!
Nay, it's true, or else I'm a Turk. You rise to play, and you go to bed to work.
You shall not write my praise.
No, let me not.
What wouldst thou write of me if thou shouldst praise me?
Oh, gentle lady, do not put me to it, for I am nothing if not critical.
Come on, essay. There's one gone to the harbor.
Aye, madam.
I'm not merry, but I do beguile the thing I am by seeming otherwise. Come, how wouldst thou praise me?
I'm about it, but indeed my invention comes from my pig, as birdlime does from trees. It plucks out brains and all. But my muse labors, and thus she's delivered. If she be fair and wise, fairness and wit, the ones for use, the other useth it.
Thou praised. How if she be black and witty?
If she be black, and thereto have a wit, she'll find a white that shall her blackness fit.
Worse and worse.
How it's fair. How it's fair and foolish.
She never yet was foolish that was fair, for even her folly helped her win an heir.
These are old fond paradoxes to make fools laugh in the alehouse. What miserable praise hast thou for her that's foul and foolish?
There's none so foul and foolish thereunto, but does foul pranks which fair and wise ones do.
O heavy ignorance! Thou praisest the worst best. But what praise couldst thou bestow on a deserving woman, indeed one that in the authority of her merit did justly put on the voucher very malice itself?
She that was ever fair and never proud, had tongue at will, and yet was never loud, never lacked gold, yet never went gay, fled from her wish, and yet said, now I may. She that, being angered, her revenge being nigh, bade her wrong stay, and her displeasure fly. She that in wisdom never was so frail, to change the cod's head for the salmon's tail. She that could think, and ne'er disclose her mind, see suitors following, and not look behind. She was a wight, if ever such wights were.
To do what?
To suckle fools and chronicle small beer.
Oh, most lame and impotent conclusion! Do not learn of him, Emilia, though he be thy husband. How say you, Cassio? Is he not a most profane and liberal counselor?
He speaks home, madam. He may relish him more in the soldier than in the scholar.
He takes her by the paw. Well said, whisperer. With as little a web as this, I will ensnare as great a fly as Cassio. Smile upon a do, I will jive thee in thine own courtship. You say true, 'tis so indeed. If such tricks as these strip you out of your lieutenantry, it had been better you had not kissed your 3 fingers so oft, which now again you kissed. An excellent courtesy. 'Tis so indeed. Yet again your fingers to your lips. Would they were clyster pipes for your sake. Oh, I know his trumpet.
'Tis truly so.
Let's meet him and receive him.
Oh, where he comes!
Oh, my fair warrior,
My dear Othello,
give me one grace, as my content to see you here before me. Oh, my soul's joy, if after every tempest of rich calms, may the winds blow till they have wakened death, and let the laboring bark climb hills of seas, Olympus high, and duck again as low as hills from heaven. If it were now to die, if it were now to die, 'twere now to be most happy, for I fear my soul hath her content so absolute that not another comfort like to this succeeds in unknown fate.
the heavens forbid, but that our loves and comforts should increase, even as our days do grow.
Amen to that, sweet powers. I cannot speak. Enough of this content which stopped me here. It is too much of joy. And this, the greatest discords be, that e'er our hearts shall make.
Oh, you are well tuned now, but I'll set down the pegs that make this music as honest as I am.
Come, let us to the castle. News, friends. Our wars are done. The Turks are drowned. How does my old acquaintance of this isle? Honey, you shall be well desired in Cyprus. I have found great love in this land. Oh, my squeeze thy bottle out of fashion, and I dote in mine own comforts. I prithee, good Iago, go to the bay and disembark my coffers. Bring thou the master of the citadel. He is a good one, and his worthiness does challenge much respect. Come, Desdemona, once more. Well met at Cyprus.
Do thou meet me presently at the harbour. Come hither, if thou be'st valiant, as they say. Base men in love have then a nobility in their natures more than is native to them. Listen me. The lieutenant tonight watches on the court of guard. First, I must tell you this. Desdemona is directly in love with him.
With him? Why, 'tis not possible.
Lay thy finger thus, and let thy soul be instructed. Mark me with what violence she first loved the more, but for bragging and telling her fantastical lies, and will she love him for strength? Let not thy discreet heart think it. Her eye must be fed, and what delight shall she have to look on the devil? When the blood is made dull with the active sport, there should be again to inflame it, and to give satiety a fresh appetite, loveliness and favour, sympathy and years, manners and beauties, all which the more is defective in. Now, for want of these required conveniences, her delicate tenderness will find itself abused, begin to heave the gorge, disrelish in a boredom. Very nature will instruct her in it, and compel her to some second choice. Now, sir, this, granted, as it is a most pregnant and unforced position, stands so eminent in the degree of this fortune as Cassio does. A knave very voluble, no further conscionable than in putting on the mere form of civil and humane seeming for the better compassing of his fault and most hidden loose affection. And none, a slipper and a subtle knave, a finder out of occasions, that has an eye can stamp and counterfeit advantages, though true advantage never present itself. A devilish knave. Besides, the knave is handsome, young, and hath all those requisites in him that folly and green minds look after. A pestilent, complete knave, and the woman hath found him already.
I cannot believe that in her. She's full of most blessed condition.
Blessed figs then. The wine she drinks is made of grapes. If she had been blessed, she would never have loved the more. Blessed pudding! Didst thou not see her paddle with the palm of his hand? Didst not mark that?
Yes, I did, but that was but courtesy.
lechery by this hand, an index and obscure prologue to the history of lust and foul thoughts. They met so near at their lips that their breaths embraced together. Villainous thoughts, Rodrigo! When these mutualities so marshaled away, hard at hand comes the master and main exercise, the incorporate conclusion. Fish! Sir, do you rule by me? I have brought you from thence. Watch you tonight. For the command I'll lay upon you. Cassio knows you not. I'll not be sauce on you. You find some occasion to anger Cassio, either by speaking too loud or tainting his discipline, or from what other course you please, which the time shall more favorably minister.
Well,
Sir, he is rash and very sudden in choler, and haply may strike at you without him, that he may, for even out of that will I cause these of Cyprus to mutiny, whose qualification shall come into no true taste again, but by the displanting of Cassio. So shall you have a shorter journey for your desires. By the means I shall then have to prefer them, and the impediment most profitably removed, without the which there will no expectation of our prosperity.
I will do this, if I can bring it to any opportunity.
I warrant thee. Meet me by and by at the citadel. I must fetch his necessaries ashore. Farewell.
Adieu.
If Cassio loves her, I do well to read it. If she loves him, 'tis apt and great credit. The more, howbeit, that I endure him not, is of a constant, loving, noble nature, and, I dare think, he'll prove to Desdemona a most dear husband. Now, I do love her too, not out of absolute lust, though, peradventure, I stand accountant for as great a sin, but partly led to diet my revenge, for that I do suspect the lusty Moor hath leaped into my seat, the thought whereof doth like a poisonous mineral gnaw my inwards, and nothing can or shall content my soul till I am even with him, wife for wife. Or, failing so, yet that I put the Moor at least into a jealousy so strong that judgment cannot cure. Which thing to do with this poor trash of Venice, whom I trash for his quick hunting, stand the putting on? I'll have our Michael Cassio on the hip, abuse him to the Moor in the rank garb, for I fear Cassio with my nightcap too, make the Moor thank me, love me, and reward me for making him egregiously an ass, and practiced upon his peace and quiet, even to madness. It is here, but yet confused. Knavery's plain face is never seen too used.